The expansion of the Arab-Muslim slave trade routes. Across the world's largest desert, a trade endured for centuries. From the sands of the Sahara to the shores of the Indian Ocean, vast trade routes connected Africa to North Africa, the Middle East, and Asia. Among the goods that moved along these routes were enslaved human beings, crossing the Sahara. The Sahara Desert was one of the greatest natural barriers on Earth. Yet for centuries, camel caravans crossed it, linking cities in West Africa with markets in North Africa. Merchants transported gold, salt, ivory, textiles, and enslaved people. The journey could take weeks or even months. Extreme heat, scarce water, and sandstorms made the crossing dangerous for everyone involved. Markets of North Africa. Cities such as Cairo, Tripoli, Tunis, and Fez became major commercial centers connected to wider regional trade. Merchants from many backgrounds bought and sold goods arriving from across Africa. Enslaved Africans entered different forms of labor depending on time and place. Historical records describe people being employed as domestic, servants, agricultural laborers, soldiers, craftsmen, and officials. Experiences varied across regions and centuries. East Africa and the Indian Ocean. Along Africa's eastern coast, Swahili port cities became important centers of maritime trade. Merchant ships sailed between East Africa, Arabia, Persia, India, and beyond. Goods flowed in every direction. Among them were enslaved people transported across the Indian Ocean through networks that changed over time. A complex history. The trade involved many different participants. Some African rulers and merchants captured
prisoners during wars or raids and sold them into regional or long-distance markets. Others resisted these practices.
The history was not one of a single group acting alone, and they sought to protect their communities.
But of changing political, economic, and military relationships shaped by demand across multiple regions. Demand expands. As centuries passed, commercial demand for enslaved labor increased in parts of North Africa, Middle East, and the Indian Ocean world. Some communities experienced repeated raids and displacement. Trade routes reached farther into the African interior, contributing to instability in certain regions. Demand expands. As centuries passed, commercial demand for enslaved labor increased in parts of North Africa, Middle East, and the Indian Ocean world. Some communities experienced repeated raids and displacement. Trade routes reached farther into the African interior, contributing to instability in certain regions. The effects differed from place to place, but many societies were profoundly affected. The story was about to change again. For centuries, these routes connected Africa to distant markets. Then, in the 15th century, European ships arrived along Africa's Atlantic coast. A new slave trading system would emerge. Its scale would transform world history. Episode 3: The Rise of the Transatlantic Slave Trade. Why did European powers turn from trading gold and ivory to transporting millions of Africans across the Atlantic? How did coastal trading posts become major slave ports? And how did this new system reshape Africa, Europe, and the Americas? The story continues.